Let's go!
Welcome to Boston.
Thank you.
So you've been working with the foundation, and kind of tell us some of the work that the J. Dilla Foundation takes on.
Okay, well, the foundation was established in 2006, right after Dilla's passing, and the work that we do is to raise up the community of youth and inspire them to pick up instruments, to hone the skills, or to go after whatever they think their passion might be. It could be to be an artist on canvas, it could be to sing, it could be to dance. You know, you never know what expression you have that's special for you. You know, a lot of us don't know what our niche is if we're not exposed to something in that sector, you know. But the experience and the outlook and care that given by others, you know, it like rings bells and opens doors, you know. You just got to have that mentoring for us. And the foundation is that for us. Through the eyes of many people, in the hearts of many people that give and love children. That's what we're about. To open the doors and to enhance skills and nurture and hone the skills of young people. We don't know where the next J. Dillas are coming from, and we have to make sure that we open up the doors to let them come in, you know, and see what the gift is that they have. You know, we all come with special gifts, and it's up to us. Most times a parent will recognize it, but then there have been lots of talent that's been gone by, you know, because a parent wasn't aware that children had special gifts. You know.
Now for you, that's actually a great concept. For you, did you see early on that he was kind of gifted in music?
Yes, but I kind of thought that maybe I could turn him to something else besides music. You know, music is not guaranteed if you don't have the force that's staunch in what they're doing and you know, holds you up to where you can be. You know, a lot of times you have somebody that'll start out with us and encourage us, and if they leave or move away, then we're left, you know, we're not certain, we haven't established our grain, you know, and to have somebody to stay with you, a force of people that can connect and be a part of that and keep it going. You know, you got to keep it going. You got to keep raising it up, you know, to make it happen. And a lot of times we have people with good intentions that aren't there always. So you kind of get like left to fall between the cracks, you know, and if you don't have the right inspiration behind you. I've always admired everything that he ever did, and music was part of what he was brought up in, you know. My husband was a jazz musician and singer for 25 years before, you know, I even met him. So, you know, he's my senior, and we met through music. You know, I actually auditioned for him.
Really?
Yes, and I had no intentions of pursuing a career in music at the time. I was working happy in my IRS job, you know. But my mom, you know, and my aunt decided that you need to, you know, use your voice, and you know, you studied since early elementary, you know, opera and classical music, so, you know, hone those skills. And I began to gravitate toward soul music and jazz, you know, but still, it was still music, and any type of music was good for me. You know, it filled the void that I had in my life. But for Dilla, at a year old, we recognized that he wasn't quite a year old, that he was really drawn to James Brown, and the second beat, I mean the very raw second beat of any James Brown tune, he recognized those records, and he would be up on the side of the playpen dancing like a nutcase, and before the record ended, because he was so keen on what the record structure was, he would realize before it finished playing that the record was fixing to go off, and he would realize that he couldn't walk, you know, and so he'd be reaching for the side of the playpen like, oh my God, I can't walk, you know, but he's dancing in the middle of the playpen the entire time, you know. But James Brown was his very first influence, and we did a lot of Manhattan Transfer, a cappella, you know, jazz singing and gospel singing. You know, we did it all. My husband actually worked with groups that were trying to perform or get their thing ready for Broadway, and this was like something that he just did out of love. And so Dilla was kind of exposed to all of this type of activity, so he had a full range of genre, you know, at that early age. I wanted my children to love music, and of course they had to sing. I mean, every Friday night was family night, everybody in the household had to perform, entertain each other. It was cheap. You didn't have to pay anything to entertain. You eat dinner and everybody goes to the living room and the mics are, I had mics in the living room like people have cocktail tables. So it was like, you know, you just plug in, grab your mic, you know, and do your thing. But everyone had to do something. And then I had a foster son that didn't sing, but he was a fantastic artist. And he was such a liar and comical with it, so we let him tell what we used to call Cracker Barrels, you know, and we enjoyed him just as much. But, you know, I think that the fear of not getting out there and reaching the epitome of where you want to be in music is a scary thing for parents that are in the industry. You know, everybody doesn't get out the gate. It's a fact. You can study hard, you can sing. There's a lot of basement singers, people that rehearse every day, long hours, and I've been a part of that type of thing, you know, singing with a cappella jazz groups. And you have some people that are the best tenor and can hear all of the notes before you get there. And when it's time to perform, they have either they have a cold that day or something's happened and they can't get there that day. And so you find yourself with a group -1, which means that somebody in the group has an extra part. And 9 times out of 10, because Mr. Yancey led, I had to have 2 parts in the background. So I went like 2 keynotes there, you know. I'd have to hit my note, make sure that I bent the note with their note, and get back to where I was at, you know. So although it was fun after the show, you had that extra burden, you know. So, you know, we don't want it. You don't want your children to grow into something that can be fulfilled within themselves. And I think that's where the fear came in. You know, if he hadn't got out the gate, and he totally was absorbed in music. He never cared about Christmas time or toys or anything. Every Christmas, we would ask what he wanted, and we already knew the answer. It would either be a better turntable or a second turntable, or it got to be a beat machine, you know. So I, you know, just knew that that was all he cared about. You know, we accept that, and so we had agreed before we had children that whatever our children decide to do in life, even if we didn't like it, we discuss it. Let them know what we thought about it, but we always let them have their own mind, you know, because you can't turn someone into a good whole individual and take their mind and tell them what they need to do. Because that passion is going to still be underlying, and suppose you get a degree or you finish your master's in something your parents wanted, and you haven't fulfilled your dream, and it's still alive and burning inside you. You're going to go to that. Throw that to the wind, the degree, you know, means nothing if it's not ingrained in the heart and in your mind. You know, so that's a very real thing. And that fight came about from the 10th, 9th, 10th, and 11th grade, when I insisted that he go to Davis Aero Technical School. Okay, this was an opportunity of a lifetime. They chose actually 1 student from middle school, every middle school each year, and you didn't get to get in there unless that was the case. You know, it was a hard process because you graduated with a year of college from that high school. So you know, it was intense. It was great. I thought it was wonderful. You spend a week in class and you spend the next week in lab. You know, so which would have been working on actual aircraft. You know, so you learn how to make the instrument panel. You learn how to make the aircraft wings. He excelled at that. And I told him, I said, if you just go this 1 year, I'll let you go to regular school, everybody else in the neighborhood next year, you know. And he didn't want to do it, but he didn't want to disappoint me. So he went. He had turned this academic just blessing into a DJ thing, because where the school was totally just about academics and maybe having a homecoming dance or something, you know. Dilla was DJing parties at the school almost less than every month. DJ Silk was spinning records. And I'm like, they didn't have anything going on like that when he went to the school, but then it totally changed. The social scene had really exploded there, and he was DJ Silk. So his counteraction was that, well, I'm doing these DJ gigs, you want me to go there, and so, but my name is DJ Silk, I should be wearing silk shirts. So I'm like, okay, you know, I'm gonna give you that. You have every silk shirt. And I started buying every color silk shirt I could find. He had a rainbow of colors, including pink, which he was not afraid to wear. And that drew a lot of attention. He was wearing a pink silk shirt, yes. He knew who he was already, so it didn't bother him, you know. And And I love to see that look, you know, that distinguished look. And so, you know, he kind of.
So if the silk shirts
Yes,
gonna keep him in
it's
school,
gonna keep
silk
him in
shirts for
Davis Air
everybody.
Tech. Then, hey, let it happen. You know, I was doing daycare then, and I didn't care. I wasn't shopping, just doing daycare, so I didn't mind. You know.
So, and as he finishes school,
Yes.
then what was the next evolution? Did he went through school?
Well, he went to school there for 3 years. He still had this last year to go, but he put his foot down after that third year. It was like, it's not happening. So, and he said, I don't care what you do to me. He just told me, he said, whatever consequences I have to pay, I'm not going back there. And I'm like, you went all this time and you only got a few months left and you can't hang in there to get this college, you know, credit. And he's like, I don't care. He said, I'm not going back.
So for him, it was just really the passion of following the music.
It was, but let me tell you that actual thing where he stopped, you know, he had to start taking the night school classes and classes at Pershing to do that last year. He had one science to make up, and he wouldn't go back for the science. Let me tell you what happened. He actually had already signed with Q-Tip, and you know was already doing things, making the money. So he's like, this is what he's like. I'm not doing it. I said, you have one science. Are you crazy? He said, I don't have time. Well, at that time he was meeting deadlines for producing, you know, albums for people already that had deadlines. And between that, the communication between Q-Tip and Babyface was actually, it was like he was drawn between, he didn't know who to go with, Babyface or Q-Tip. It was like a you know, a decision that he really couldn't get, you know, on his own. He was like, he racked his brain. Babyface would call him every day around 6 o'clock, between 6 and 8, and my staff, daycare staff, would be there waiting because they'd be waiting to answer the phone, you know. So they got a like, you know, kick out of that. But he adored Babyface, and you know, and he adored Tip. But I guess Tip went out, you know.
So, you know, it's very interesting that I hear when we talk to a lot of producers, we talk about the music that comes out of their home,
Yeah.
and kind of what was around them and how that kind of really sparked.
All genres.
What were you listening to?
Well,
that when you listen to his music, you could see where he got that from.
Well, one thing I didn't know that he listened to was my classics. I could tell in the latter part of his music that he would use excerpts from, you know, classical music and some of the things, and then flip it really wild, you know, but still tickled me to death that he even, you know, remembered to listen to it.
All right.